When you wonder in an intimate relationship why he is always hot and cold, or are confused why I can't help but cling to the other person, or doubt why, I'd rather be sad alone than ask for help. In fact, these seemingly unsolvable emotional puzzles can all be answered by attachment styles. Attachment styles are not labels, but emotional interaction codes revealed by psychology. They originate from the interaction patterns between children and caregivers in childhood, but profoundly affect our intimate relationships, interpersonal communication, and even self-perception in adulthood. Unlike constellations full of romantic imagination, or simple personality tests, they help us see our emotional needs clearly and understand the behavioral logic of others, with their scientific, accurate, and life-close characteristics. From the proposal of attachment theory by psychologist John Bowlby to its current role as an important tool in intimate relationship counseling, attachment styles tell the laws and warmth of the human emotional world through the psychological motivation behind each behavior and the expression of needs in each interaction. The research on attachment styles originates from the exploration of emotional connection in psychology. British psychologist John Bowlby put forward the attachment theory in the 1950s, which was later refined by Mary Ainsworth through the strange situation experiment, and finally formed 4 core attachment styles applicable to adults, providing a scientific framework for us to understand emotional patterns. Bowlby's initial research focused on the relationship between infants and caregivers. He found that infants would establish emotional connections with caregivers through behaviors such as crying, smiling, and snuggling. This connection is not only for meeting physiological needs such as food and safety, but also a source of psychological security. If caregivers can respond to infants' needs in a timely manner and provide stable care, infants will form a safe emotional expectation. On the contrary, if caregivers respond indifferently, unpredictably, or even reject, infants will form an unstable emotional expectation. These expectations will be internalized into emotional templates, which will affect the interpersonal relationships of adults as they grow up. Later, Ainsworth divided infant attachment styles into 3 types: secure, avoidant, and anxious ambivalent, through the strange situation experiment, letting infants experience separation and reunion with caregivers in an unfamiliar environment. In the 1980s, psychologist Philip Shaver extended the attachment theory to adult intimate relationships. Combining the complexity of adult emotional interaction, he supplemented it with 4 core types: secure, avoidant, anxious, and fearful avoidant, making this theory an important tool for understanding adult emotional patterns. Today, attachment styles are not only used in psychological research, but also widely applied in intimate relationship counseling, parent-child education, workplace communication, and other fields to help people understand their own and others' emotional needs. Each attachment style corresponds to a unique set of emotional response logic: how to view oneself, how to view others, and how to deal with uncertainty in intimate relationships. These logics shape our behavioral choices and emotions, and determine the quality of our interaction with others. Secure attachment is the most ideal emotional pattern. People with this type of attachment have a clear understanding of themselves, and a basic trust in others. They can enjoy dependence while maintaining independence in close relationships, acting like an emotional stabilizer. This type of attachment often stems from the stable and timely responses of their caregivers during childhood. For example, a mother would gently comfort a crying baby, or a father would listen attentively when a child shared a happy story. These experiences fostered a sense of security and trustworthiness in their minds. People with avoidant attachment often disguise themselves as independence, appearing aloof and distant, but in reality, fearing the loss of control that comes with dependence. They are like emotional lone rangers. This type of attachment often stems from the cold and rejecting responses of their caregivers during childhood. For example, a mother would ignore or criticize a crying baby with "stop crying," or a father would perfunctorily respond with "don't bother me" when a child wanted to share. These experiences fostered a sense of self-reliability and a belief that dependence on others would only lead to disappointment. People with anxious attachment have a strong desire to be loved, yet constantly worry about being neglected. They seek security through reassurance. Like emotional light chasers, this type of attachment often stems from the hot and cold and erratic responses of their caregivers during childhood. For example, a mother who would sometimes offer gentle companionship, then push away due to moodiness. A father who would promise to play with his child, but frequently broke his promise. These experiences instill in them the belief that only constant attention can prevent abandonment. Fearful attachment is the most complex type. This type of attachment craves intimacy while fearing being hurt, repeatedly torn between getting close and pushing away, like an emotional ambivalence. This type of attachment often stems from the complex responses of their caregivers during childhood, characterized by both hurtful and occasional affection. For example, parents who would sometimes spank and scold their children, then regretfully apologize and offer compensation. These experiences instill in them the belief that love and hurt coexist, and intimacy is both beautiful and dangerous. Understanding attachment style isn't about labeling yourself or others, but rather about understanding the needs behind behavior and adjusting interactions. This can make relationships, whether intimate, friendly, or family, smoother and warmer. Understanding our own attachment style can help us see why we react the way we do, allowing us to accept our own imperfections and break negative cycles. Understanding others' attachment styles can help us transcend complaints, like why don't they understand me, and learn to empathize. Attachment style has its roots in childhood, and understanding attachment theory can help parents build a secure emotional foundation for their children. Attachment style isn't a fixed destiny, but rather an emotional pattern that can be gradually adjusted through self-awareness and relationship interaction. Avoidant individuals can learn to be moderately dependent, anxious individuals can learn to self-soothe, and fearful individuals can gradually let go of their fears. Even secure individuals can continue to grow in relationships and gain a deeper understanding of themselves and others. It's not a standard for judging a relationship's quality. Successful relationships aren't limited to secure individuals. Anxious and avoidant individuals can also find balance through mutual understanding. For example, anxious individuals can learn to give each other space, while avoidant individuals can learn to respond proactively. Fearful individuals can also find someone willing to patiently accompany them and gradually build trust. Most importantly, attachment styles teach us that behind every emotional reaction lies an unseen need. Every conflict in a relationship is an opportunity to understand ourselves and others. Understanding this emotional code can lead to less conflict and more composure in intimate relationships, fewer misunderstandings and more warmth, ultimately unlocking our own unique and comfortable emotional patterns.